more than proven yourself to me, so I feel I can trust you with a delicate matter.
So, the thing about role-playing in D&D is that 5th edition may have identified it as one of the 3 pillars of the game 10 years ago, but D&D is the game that put role-playing on the map 5 decades ago. So it's kind of been a big part of the game for a while. Hey everybody, I'm Kel, and now that you're here, let's talk about Neverwinter. This Troubled Times quest string serves as a pretty cool capstone to the leveling campaign. Odds are, by the time you finish the last section of the campaign and you've reached level 20, your item level's being capped pretty hard. But Neverwinter keeps those guardrails on, whether you like them or not. It's kind of like having a 20th level character in pen and paper D&D, and you show up to play the game, and your DM's like, alright guys, this session's going to be really tough, and to show you how tough it is, we're going to reduce all your stats to what they were when you were 10th level, and you'll be doing half damage to everything you hit tonight. There's a reason a DM has a screen to hide behind. They wouldn't even get halfway through that crap before the Doritos started to fly. But anyway, Troubled Times. You've graduated! Except for a couple uncool exceptions. I'm looking at you, Rothe Valley and Well of Dragons. You get to be 20th level for real now. Woohoo! Go you! It's your birthday. Another part of this adventure is that it's the first time Sergeant Knox leans in and says, hey, you're a pretty cool person. I think I can trust you. Maybe Neverwinter needs your help, but I know for sure that right now, I need your help. Moments like that are what great campaigns are built on. The NPC starts to become less of a quest giver, more of a person. Alright, I know, a lot of people are already calling bullshit on my touchy-feely, big emotions approach to D&D.
I sense you have big feelings.
But hear me out. D&D has always been built on combat, exploration, and role-playing. Neverwinter is like 200% combat these days. But it wasn't always. In other videos, I'll talk about what happened to the exploration pillar, how Cryptic caught it sleeping, tied it in a burlap sack, and then threw it into a yawning mouth of Mount Hotenow. But Troubled Times, this quest string right here, is probably the most visible ghost of actual role-playing that used to exist in Neverwinter. And even though it isn't as great as it used to be, it still stands out among the other adventures all around it. One cool thing that Troubled Times does, in addition to humanizing Sergeant Knox just the slightest bit, is reintroduce Lieutenant Linkletter, and not just as a quest giver. He exists as one of Neverwinter's few real NPCs. Someone who comes back again later and maybe needs your help, or maybe you need his, and there's a facsimile of a relationship there. What makes this questline even more clever is that you're not just helping Linkletter, you're helping his wife. And how do they make it count? What really makes you care? Betrayal. Someone in a position of authority isn't just abusing the people who rely on him, he's torturing them. He's using them as cosmic bait. He's a very bad guy. And, this being Neverwinter, you get to stomp on him for it. You get to save Linkletter and his family, and put an end to the true evil behind what's going on at the Plague Tower. That's where things get really interesting, and used to get even more interesting still. In this version of Neverwinter, in Jewel of the North, Troubled Times happens at the end of the leveling campaigns. It's cool because you've earned the right to do a personal quest and help out your buddy Sergeant Knox. That's awesome. And because of where it falls, you already know about the Chasm and Scar Company and all of that. So when you get to the Cloaked Ascendancy campaign, you're excited to find that Linkletter is there, and he's been promoted. That's super cool because at the end of Troubled Times, Knox says there's no sign of Linkletter or Dorothy. Yay, Linkletter's back. That rocks. And then he's gone. Blink and you miss it. Now, follow me down the road to the past, to an alternate Neverwinter. Here, Troubled Times happens earlier, before you've even gone to Neverdeath. You learn about the Plague Changed while playing Troubled Times. You meet Linkletter and his family, and you do a personal quest to help Sergeant Knox. People keep calling you hero throughout Neverwinter, but this is the quest where that really begins. Because you get to do something really heroic here. And then, in this alternate universe, when you go to the Chasm, You find out where Linkletter and Dorothy went after Knox told you that there's been no sign of them. Both of them are in the chasm, helping Quarthon, helping to regain some semblance of their former lives. There's even a moment overlooking the jagged approach where you literally talk Linkletter off a cliff. Actual emotional role-playing where an NPC is losing his humanity and you get to be the one to convince him to hang in there just a little bit longer. And he agrees for a little bit longer. And then you lose track of him until you get to the Cloaked Ascendancy campaign. And then you meet him again. And then you find that he hasn't given up. In fact, he's found his strength and he's been promoted. And that dude that you worked so hard to keep on his feet during troubled times and during the chasm, more than once you've helped him and he has become more of a real person. And then that dude is the one that shows up in the Cathedral of Chaos when you need help. You feel like your friend has your back. That's what great campaigns are built on. What we have right now in Jewel of the North, it's good. There's a reason people keep finding Neverwinter and starting new characters. But man, if there's one thing I could click undo on from Jewel of the North, this was the role-playing quest. This was the pillar of D&D that Neverwinter finally got right. But hey, at least we have our memories, right? And combat. Lots and lots of combat.
Well, this is awkward, isn't it?
And Toover, home of the Toover special. If you haven't found this guy when you're going through troubled times, it's worth going through again, even if you have to make a new character to do it. I don't know why. This guy makes me laugh. He's a lot of fun, and he's a throwback to how Neverwinter is capable of throwing things at you that can be tense and serious and violent, and then in the middle of it, you run into this character who is just comic relief, breaks the tension, makes it lots of fun. This guy cracks me up. I love him. Skip forward a little bit, and here we are at the end. Check out these names. Del McCourt, Zoe and Abby Fargo, Hothodon, Linkletter, Knox. There was a time when this scene felt like a real capstone. Because you'd played through Black Lake, you'd played through the Merchant District, you'd played Troubled Times, you'd met all of these characters, and when you got together to save Dorothy and stop Razad, it really felt like Sergeant Knox was getting the gang together, and you were part of that gang. These were all characters, NPCs that you had worked with, you had done quests with. They weren't the people that necessarily stood there and told you to go do something for 21 pieces of copper. A lot of the times, these were the characters that were out there in the thick of things with you. And maybe they gave you 21 pieces of copper because, hey, it's a game. But they were the ones who were in the middle of the peril with you, and you were helping them, and they were helping you. They were giving you intel so you could move on to the next stage of your quest. The characters here were significant, even though their role really isn't, because Linkletter just runs off like this, and Sergeant Knox, being Sergeant Knox, just says, he ran off. He's insubordinate. And that turns out to be the punchline of the whole quest. So you can see here they come running in. You've stormed the Plague Tower. It's a really cool scene and a really meaningful part of the game.
We've got these ones, but there's still more creatures out here. We can't let them escape into the city. But also, we can't leave Linkletter alone in there. I hate to do it, but I want you to head into the tower and find Linkletter. We'll join you inside after securing the area.
And finally, no conversation of Troubled Times is complete if you don't talk about the Neverwinter puzzles. And if you've played the second third of Sharandar, and you've gone through the Hag's Lair and the glyph puzzles, puzzles in quotes, you know what I'm talking about. This thing with the statues is both really cool, but in kind of a quaint sort of way. It's a throwback to some of the old Sierra style games like, Seventh Guest, 13th Hour, where these things start out really simple. Eventually in the Sierra games, they get far more complicated. But just turning these statues so that they face the right way, turning these crystals so that they show the right glyphs. It's just a fun little bit of interaction that Neverwinter throws our way every now and then. If I remember correctly, Troubled Times used to be one of the first times you really ran into this sort of puzzle. And it's just a neat little thing that you run into from time to time. I'm glad they don't overdo it, but at the same time, it's kind of cute when it comes along. And then it's time for bad guy speech, and then it's stomp the bad guy, and then it's back to Sergeant Knox for the wrap-up and the group hug, and you have completed Troubled Times.
Neverwinter will survive, thanks to you. And a little bit of insubordination.
If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to let us know that you'd like to see more. Thank you, and hope to see you next time.